Thank you.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to this wonderful time that we're going to have to celebrate an important and one of my favorite days, International Women's Day 2026. We're excited about this. Thank you for joining us. I am Nana Mulundika. I'm going to be your moderator for this afternoon, this evening, or whatever time you're watching this. And I'm excited for what we have planned. We have such a great conversation on the subject of the International Women's Day and on a lot of things. We'll be focusing on quite a few things. So please enjoy the conversation, join the conversation. If there is anything, you have questions, anything you want to have, please feel free to reach out to us. We'd be happy to look into that for you. I'm going to start, before we do anything else, by introducing the woman that's made this event possible, the woman behind the scenes, hard worker, a personal hero for me, and that is Susanna. Susanna, are you available? Hello.
Hi, how are you? I'm much available.
Good. Wonderful.
Yes, we've had a very tough, I'd say, afternoon in bringing the
Yes, we have.
and you know the way technology is always, and it's something you just have to, um, sometimes you can never prepare enough when it comes to um, technology. But
Right.
anyway, we're here, and we're happy to be here, to join in into the conversation with everyone. So yes, this is my favorite year, time of the year. In times that we as women, like yourself and Nana, we come
Yes.
together
Mm-hmm.
within our own circle to celebrate women all around the world. So today we have a great opportunity to be celebrating ourselves as women. I'm celebrating myself. I'm celebrating you. Congratulations on your new master's. Is that it? Yeah? Or is it a new degree or
No,
master's?
it's a new, different
It's a new
degree.
degree. Yes, yeah. Okay, your degree. So congratulations on
Thank
that. So
you. Thank you so
and
much. Much
yeah, this
appreciated.
is why we celebrate ourselves as women because we're doing so fantastic. We never stop learning. We never stop giving.
Absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
this year, the team for the national team for International Women's Day
Mm-hmm.
is give and gain and give and gain. That is the theme for this year. It's about giving and gaining something. So you
Yes.
give you and you gain something out of it.
Yeah.
So, but we are going to be having conversation
Okay, good.
around emotional intelligence.
Yes.
That's what
Sorry,
our
Susanna.
conversation is going
Sorry,
to focus
Susanna. I'll just interrupt you a little bit because
on.
I can't actually see you properly. I can
Oh,
I can see your beautiful scarf, but I can't see your face.
that is another technology error. But
I know we've had all the technology problems today, haven't we?
at least you can hear me. So let's just keep that going for
Okay.
now.
Okay.
You can hear me. So let's keep that going for now.
Okay.
And hopefully that will sort itself out with
Okay.
time.
Yeah,
Yes, I
that's
think it
fine.
will solve itself out with time.
Yeah.
But yes, you can see me. So let's keep that going.
Okay, no problem. Please
I
continue.
noticed it myself, but I didn't want to bother myself too much about it. So since you can hear my voice and at least there's a picture there showing something. So yes, you're welcome. It's a wonderful day to celebrate women all around the world.
Yes.
Um, and before we go into the conversation, we have a. I'm going to go through the. Let me quickly just go through the program for the day so that
Mhm.
people will be able to follow us on the key programs that we are doing.
Mhm.
So we've started. We've done the introduction, um, and we welcome everybody that will be joining us. So you
Yes.
might be joining us on LinkedIn. because this is live on LinkedIn and on our YouTube channel as well. So if you're watching us on YouTube, I'm going to share a link that if you want to join us, you can join us as well live. Or if you're watching us on YouTube or LinkedIn and you want to come on board, you will be able to come on board. So I'll put out the link for people to see. You can click on it and you can join us at any time you want to.
Hmm.
So the next thing we have is a brief introduction. So I'm going to give you now to do the introduction on our circle network.
Okay. Yep, absolutely. So you may have heard a few things or a few words about her circle network and what's that all about, especially as we're celebrating women. So all the events that you see that are hosted by the African Diaspora Network are through Susanna are done through a network that she has graciously put together. It's called Her Circle Network. This is a network of women that are like-minded, that are passionate about a lot of things, academics, business, anything, family, anything and everything that concerns women. We are passionate and we are concerned about that. And so we've come together. It is headed by a committee, and I'm proud to say I'm chair of that committee. And happy to serve in that capacity. And so we host a lot of things and events. For example, the event we're hosting now, we also host the not only International Women's Day, but every September for the past few years, we've been hosting the Women's Summit, where we just come together, celebrate women. On usually it's the third week of September. So look out for the information for this year's summit. It's going to be amazing. If you want to have a look at videos or clips of the previous summits we've had, feel free to do so. All that is available online for you to see. And so this network of women, headed by this committee, organizes all these things where we just get together and express different things, different aspects. For now, we're celebrating International Women's Day with the theme, as Susanna said, give. With the giving theme.
Okay. Mhm.
Yeah. So we're just happy about that. And please feel free to get information about Her Circle Network. Feel free to get the information about the Africa Diaspora Network as well. Feel free to participate if you feel there is, there is something in our ethos that you're happy about. Feel free to reach out. And express yourself. So that's just a little bit of information about the network that is behind all of this that we are doing today.
That's fantastic. Thank you so much for that. So I'm going to just quickly tell you guys about the Afro in the Diaspora Center. So thanks to my chairperson, I think for the past, if I'm not mistaken now, for the past 5 years, time goes by. It's going to
It
spring.
does, doesn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, because I'm sure you took on that role as a chairperson around COVID time, which was
Yeah.
2020,
Yeah.
if not around COVID time.
Yeah,
Yeah,
around COVID time,
it,
yes.
yeah. Is it that year before or just that year exactly that
Mhm.
you took on that role? I think it's that year 2020 that you
Yes.
took on that role. So
Yes.
it's been a while. Yeah. It's and it's been fantastic. So I'll tell you guys a little bit about the Afro in the Diaspora Center. We started in 2010, and the organization initially when we started, the focus was on women, bring coming together to have a platform whereby as African Caribbean women we can contribute to the community and we can share our skills and knowledge. But as time goes by, we merged together with the African Caribbean Forum, whereby it's a mixture of both men and women. And since then, the group has also incorporated different men initiatives into the organization. And one of our programs is Time with Wise Men. So, which focus really where is the forum where men gather together and they talk about different issues that affect them as men, health issues, family issues, love life, anything that just focus or centers around men. And from there, we started up the Our Circle network as well, whereby it's mainly for ladies and we come together, we talk, we chat, we meet monthly and we have our meetings and we talk. So after this event, our meeting will start officially on a monthly basis, whereby we meet. Mostly we meet on Sundays. So if anybody is interested, you can reach out to us on my either on my on our website. I'm going to put the details there too. So the details of the website, you can go on our website, Afro in the Diaspora Center, Art Center website, and then you can reach out to us through the contact if you want to be part of any of these things we're doing. But today we're celebrating the International Women's Day,
Hmm.
the Afro in the Diaspora Center, and we are delighted to join you all. Myself and Nana, we are having this conversation together today. So now, thank you, Nana. So we go to the next on our list here, and that will be
Hmm.
um, a speech from yourself as the chairperson for this. Are you ready?
Yeah, yeah. So I just
Yes.
wanted to briefly talk about the theme, not only the theme for International Women's Day, but our theme for this particular event today.
Event. Yeah.
I don't know if it's written anywhere or if you can see it, but we today are focusing on emotional intelligence, and I know Susanna's going to touch on that, and we've got some good questions
Mm.
that we'll talk about. But I just very briefly wanted to go through it. First of all, you hear this definition quite a lot. So the term international intelligence became popular. It's a psychological term, and it became popular 1995, I believe. Let me check my references. Yeah, 1995, by Daniel Coleman. Now, emotional intelligence relates to having self awareness. It also relates to self regulation. We're going to be talking a lot about that. It relates to empathy, as we're going to be talking about. It relates to social skills. Now, why does it even matter? Why all of a sudden are we talking about you have to be emotionally intelligent? What's the point? What's the point in all of this? After everything we're going to discuss shortly. First of all, let's talk about research. Now, research shows that it's not emotional intelligence is not just a soft skill. It's more than that. It is a core driver of success. If you really want success in every area and aspect, I'm not just talking about business, I'm not just talking about careers, I'm talking about every single aspect, your relationships, you know, your family, how you regulate your feelings and all of these things, because it is extremely important, especially in these days and times. That is one of the things that is a core driver of. So you do have to have that emotional intelligence. I think Harvard Business School, they published research that shows that nearly 90% of what sets high performers different from other, just other peers, is that emotional intelligence. So people with emotional intelligence achieve and perform more. Now I didn't say they're more successful. I just said they perform more, which is what we want at the end of the day. So it's not necessarily about years of experience. It's not necessarily about IQs. It's not even about degrees. They're all important. We're not saying they're not. But with that added umph of emotional intelligence, that's the importance. And as women, as we celebrate International Women's Day, women everywhere around the world with different cultures, with different experiences, with different looks, features, and with different, understandings, with different from different walks and areas of life. Women everywhere, go through every type of thing. If it's in a family, how do you regulate that emotional intelligence? How do you handle that when the family is successful, when the family is going through a few things? If it's in the workplace, how do you handle that? Are you emotionally intelligent to handle the good, the bad, and even the ugly? That is what we're going to be discussing today. That's the whole point, and I'm so excited, looking forward to that conversation. Now, research also shows that women, on average, and I'm biased, clearly, but women on average, they are more competent in related to empathy and social responsibility. So as women, we're just wired that way. We're wired to have a little bit more empathy, and we're going to talk about that a little bit, but we're just wired that way. So even with all the answers that we're going to try and come up with, it's just us. It's a woman thing, and I can I can say that with
Exactly.
without bias. It's just a woman thing. There's no, it's research. It's done. So there's all of those things. Now we will need to reframe emotion as intelligence, because some people think, oh, you're just emotional, you're just being emotional. Let's reframe that and look at it as intelligent. What would make it intelligent? How you respond and how you react. Do you listen to just understand, or do you listen to quickly reply? Do you already have a reply in mind? If you're in a conflict with someone, are you listening when they're explaining themselves? Are you listening to understand, genuinely understand, or do you already have an answer in mind? I think I'm guilty of the second one most of the time. you know there's things like stress. Emotional intelligence will teach us how to handle stressful situations, because we can then regulate and not be that stressed. I'm not saying situations won't stress us, and rightly so. You can't
Mhm.
control how life happens. I think we can agree on that one. But with emotional intelligence, we can understand how that works. So, as women, this is what we are going to unpack today. This is my speech. Let's celebrate us. Let's celebrate the women that have gone before, the women that are here now, the women that we are as ourselves. Let's appreciate that, because we have done a damn good job so far. We've done an amazing job so far. So kudos to you, women. Let's
Yes.
celebrate, and let's enjoy the rest of this conversation. Let's enjoy the rest of this time.
Thank you so much for that. Thank you so much. You're just, it's just, it's a perfect time to come in with presentation, and you've given us a whole sort of introduction in
Mhm.
your speech to
Yeah.
what emotional intelligence is,
Mhm.
what the challenges are,
Yeah.
what is the conversation around it, how do we use it, what makes it different, and most
Mhm.
especially the background, the history to emotional intelligence. I was listening to you there. The word emotional intelligence has always been out there, emotion intelligence, being intelligence,
Yeah.
having emotions. But I think for myself, and to truly say for myself, it was
Mhm.
in recent years, less than 3 years, I should say, for
Mhm.
me,
Mhm.
that putting those two words together started, you know, becoming. I'm like, okay, what is it? This word emotion, now intelligence, now
Mhm.
having it together, making it to become something we're having a conversation about now, associating our life in reference to emotional intelligence.
Mhm.
So, what exactly is this emotional
Yeah.
intelligence all about?
Mhm.
When we say emotional intelligence, what is it all about?
Mhm.
So, for those of you that might be watching on LinkedIn or YouTube, if you have any reason to comment, please drop your comments. I can see it in studio and I can read out your comments. If you look at on the screen, I have on the stream that you're watching now, you see a link. If you decide you want to just join in, just click on that link. You can come into the conversation. For those of you that might be watching on LinkedIn or YouTube live, so you can join us if you want to. So, what is this emotional intelligence all about? It's unlocking the power of self awareness and empathy.
Mhm.
So, you said something there that we always have a question. When somebody asks a question, sometimes you already have an answer
Yeah.
without even giving it a thought.
Mhm.
So, what emotional intelligence is now saying is that become self aware. So, when somebody is talking to you or whatever, before you even say anything, become self aware. Think, count 1 to 10 before you respond to anything, and make sure that when you're responding, you're using empathy to respond. So if somebody is talking to you, you're not just responding out
Yeah.
of your own knowledge, but you are using the application of empathy as well. So, what is emotional intelligence? That has
Mhm.
already been defined for us, Banana, in that speech. So, I'm just going to point out some key things. Understanding, first, to understand what emotional intelligence is for women. And that is part of the conversation she was talking about. People play around with words when we have emotions, when women is expressing themselves. So they
Mhm.
play around with words.
Mhm.
They might say, "Oh, it's menopause. She's having a monthly something." There's always every emotion that a woman does
Yeah.
is always associated to something. They don't see that it's coming from a place of intelligence. So it's either she's on a monthly this, or she's having menopause, or
Mhm.
she's just being a woman, or there's always, they don't see it coming from a place of intelligence. So what we're saying with emotional intelligence is that we should associate people's attitude, or we ourselves have to be emotionally intelligent when we respond to things. So
Mhm.
those are the key things. So we've defined what emotional intelligence is. um, we've given you two key things to take away. First thing, and this, I hope this can be just click up. Um, this can be just click into our little clicks that we're going to do. So the two things we've taken out of the definition: first is to be self-aware. Secondly, is that we should apply empathy. And to take from what Nana was saying there, is that, think very well before you respond. Even if you have your own questions, your own answers before even the person is talking, take a step back, count 1 to 10, take 10 seconds, and then respond. So respond from a place of intelligence rather than just responding from the answer that you've prepared even before the conversation starts. So the unique strength of women are often brings to emotional awareness and rational dynamic. So that is what that brings forward. So we know now what emotional intelligence is.
Mhm.
Uh, from the conversation. We know what it means, what it is. We have our takeaway from that to say, oh, this is the definition. Another thing Nana speaks about there again was why emotional. Why is it? Why are we now talking about emotional intelligence?
Yeah.
So, why is emotional intelligence important? So, in our personal life, it allows us to improve relationship and communication. First, um, secondly, it allows us to enhance conflict resolution skills, and it allows us to promote a better mental well-being. So that is in our personal life. So that those are the three takeaways we have here. Do you want to add anything to that, Nana?
Okay, yes. Maybe just one or two things. Why emotional intelligence is important. I think now, especially the times we're living in now, everything is coming at us. We have such what's the word I'm going to use? We have so much stimulation coming at us. When we go on our phones, there's so much information coming at us from every single angle, and so emotional intelligence will help us to be able to, first of all, not be overstimulated, because that is not a healthy thing. When you get all of these coming at you at once, your brain literally cannot handle that. I'm a psychologist. I can
Mhm.
now say that with backup. So your brain literally cannot handle overstimulation. I'm not saying it won't work. I'm just saying that's too much. And so with emotional intelligence, it will help us. Whatever you do, whether you need to breathe sometimes, whether you just need to calm down, if something is getting you angry or upset, whether you just need to take five, go in a different environment, different situation, breathe, look at something different, calm down, calm down. That's going to be something we're dealing with a lot. There's a lot, I don't know why I'm seeing a lot of the fact that, and we've already talked about this, but I'm seeing a lot of the fact that everybody now thinks and talks before they have a minute to pause and say, why do I feel the need to respond quickly? Why do I feel the need to respond that my way is right? Just look at social media. I'll use that as an example. Look at the
Yeah,
comments on everybody. If somebody just posts something simple, oh, congratulations, I've got a new job, I'm excited. Oh, comments will come down hard on the person. You're showing off. You're this. You don't know what that person went through. Maybe they went years before getting a job. You know,
yeah,
maybe they were sick and now
yes.
they're celebrating the fact that they can work. There's
Mm,
always, everybody's going to find something wrong. Let me I think a lot of people let me use body image example. Brosnan, he's a
mhm.
brilliant actor. When he married his wife, looked quote unquote the part. What is the part
Yeah,
defined by? That's a story for another day. But she looked the part. Over the years, she's given him children and she's lived her life. So, she's put on a little bit of weight, and that's no problem. But my goodness, everybody was hating on her. And these are intelligent, quote unquote, I'm going to get a lot of hating on her to say,
quote unquote, quote and unquote.
People were hitting on her, saying, "Oh, your husband is going to leave you because you don't look the same. You've put on too much weight. You're fat. You're this." They body shamed her, and I was like, "What happened? What makes people think that they have the right to just come in and comment any kind of way? What happened to
Yeah,
compassion, empathy, for example? We've talked
yeah.
about it. Where
Where,
is it?
where is empathy?
Where
Where's
is it?
empathy nowadays?
I don't see it. I don't see it. Empathy, are you there? Because I can't see it.
Mm,
So these are the things I'm trying to say, is that in every aspect, it doesn't necessarily even just have to be from a business front or from that
yeah,
front. Every aspect of life, we will need
yeah,
to have some
yeah,
emotional
yeah,
intelligence. We need to do
exactly.
better.
You're really totally right there. And before I go back to the presentation, just to comment on what you were saying there is that you were talking basically about our how we approach things these days as women.
Yeah,
How do we when you I think you're talking about the way people just everybody wants to say something. Everybody is an expert on
yeah,
every issue now.
yeah. In every issue.
And everybody is an expert. And I guess because the social media platform is there, we can just go in onto that place and just pour out. I think sometimes
Mm,
we're just using the social media to pour out our grievances.
mm,
We just say everything we want to say on the social media platforms. So you're totally right there when we talk about why is it important now?
yeah.
It's so important in this day and age for
Mm,
us, like you said, take 5 minutes, take a break before you respond
yeah.
to anything. Sit back, think about it for a second, count 1 to 10 in your heart before you say anything. And just just take a step back and think, do I need to even respond at all? And that was
Exactly.
a key point you're saying there. Do I even need to respond? I don't have to. And I've seen so many cases, I have to tell you, that when I see some comments on social media platform, I have to say to myself, because you just get yourself so angry and walk out. I have to say to myself, do I have to respond? And then I will think of what I want to say. Then I say, let me just go and read the comment space. Somebody might have said the same thing I'm thinking in my mind. And
Mm-hmm.
most of the time, I will see that someone else have said similar to what I'm thinking. So then I'll say to myself, there's no need to say it again. So that means somebody else is thinking the same way I'm thinking. They are responding the same way I'm also
Yeah,
feeling myself. So
yeah.
you're totally right there. So when we talk about why emotional intelligence, we're talking about in our professional life now. You need to increase your leadership. Somebody else is joining. I'm going to add that in later. So increase your leadership effectiveness, improve teamwork and collaboration, enhance
Mm,
decision making and making it decision making and problem solving.
yeah.
So you're welcome there, Latifat. You are in the studio. I can see that you are still on mute. Do you want to say hi before we continue our conversation there, um, Latifat?
No, because I'm also in another meeting. So I'm just going to listen in.
Okay, you can just give us 1 or 2 minutes contribution to emotional intelligence and just to say hi to every woman celebrating International Women's Day. So we can give you 1 minute to just make your own
No, I'm
contribution.
actually in another meeting and I didn't want to not come to your meeting.
Oh,
Okay,
that's
I'm
okay.
actually in another.
That's fine.
Sorry.
No, 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 that's fine. Okay, I'll let you be. Okay, so yeah, so we go ahead and continue the conversation as we are. So when I said in terms of professional life, we have increased leadership and effectiveness, team working and collaboration, and to enhance decision making and problem solving. So these are the key things that we want you to apply when it comes to emotional intelligence for women, and especially within your own working environment. How do you respond in this way? So the next thing we're going to talk on is self-awareness. That was one of when we define uh, the emotional intelligence. There was three key things we said we want you all to take away. The first one is to be self-aware. The second one is empathy, and the third one was that like Nana was saying there, you don't have to respond to everything. Take a break. Count 1 to 10. There's no need for you to quickly, take your time before you respond. Think before you respond to anything. And you should, when you respond, you have to respond with intelligence and empathy. And that's it. So we're talking about self-awareness. So what do you want to say there? What is self-awareness to you, Nana?
Yeah, I love that question. So, self awareness is a lot of things. So, first of all, it is number one, understanding me as an individual. And more than that, me as an individual, I then consider myself, I consider myself a global citizen. So, me as a human being, what does
That's
self awareness?
wonderful.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
me as an individual can be broken up into a lot of things. It can mean,
Mm.
who am I as a woman? Who am I as an African? Who am I as, just all of those things. And then me as a human being is, who am I as a humanitarian? Do I care not just about me, but do I care and understand that the world doesn't revolve around me? There's so much else, you know, going on in the world. So self awareness to me is being aware of who you are. And who you are is encompassing a lot. That's where it starts from me. And if I'm aware of self, if I'm aware of my humanity, if I'm aware of who I am as an individual, that then will help me to be emotionally intelligent, because then I can understand, okay, what makes me tick? What do I like? What do I not like? Do I have boundaries? Do I have whatever it is that I need? Do I have understanding? Do I have the capacity to do this? Am I a people pleaser? All these type of things. Do I want, oh, if I'm in a position of leadership, you know, am I a good leader? Am I setting a good example as a leader? All of these type of things, you have to be aware. If you are not self-aware, you won't be able to answer those questions correctly and adequately. So that's what self-awareness is to me.
Thank you very much. I think we had another definition. I'm just going to read through that
Yeah.
in the group chat there.
Yeah.
Uh, in our little circle as women,
Hmm.
we have that. So I'm going to read it out to everyone, those of you that is joining us. So self awareness is to they understand their emotions. Is that
Hmm.
it's for women to
Hmm.
understand your emotions,
Hmm.
just like what triggers you
Hmm.
and your behavioral pattern,
Hmm.
allowing all these things to respond thoughtfully. So
Yeah.
those are the ones we want you to take away,
Hmm.
um, thoughtfully, rather than react
Yeah. Yeah.
impulsively.
Yeah.
So when we are talking about emotional intelligence,
Hmm.
basically what they are trying to get you to understand with emotional intelligence now is that you should be thoughtful, empathy. When you are responding to anything, you should be thoughtful. You should be aware of the things that triggers you, so that
Hmm.
before you react to anything or
Yeah.
before you say anything, and you should be, what triggers you. You should take control of your emotions. So when you're having these emotions and everything is coming out, you should take a time out. Take a time out for yourself
Hmm.
before you start responding or before you engage or contribute to other. So these are the things that is important for you to note. And if you go back again into the Bible, I think the Bible says to us that we should listen more than we talk. I
Yeah.
guess right now. I might not be able to quote a verse for it right now, but I can quickly do a research on that. And I think the Bible really talks about how important it is to control our mouth,
Yeah.
because what we say, and so I think that is where the point of intelligence is
Yeah.
actually coming.
Yeah.
But
Absolutely.
for me to give you just to give us a takeaway, what the benefit of self-awareness. One, it helps manage emotions more effectively. So those emotions we're talking about in there, those things that triggers you, that we talked about, your behavioral pattern. The benefit of self-awareness is that it helps us manage emotions more effectively.
Hmm.
It allows us to improve self-confidence, because then you become confident the way you speak professionally, you speak with empathy, you speak with love, you speak with decency, you speak If you become more sophisticated in the way you speak, because you're not just speaking like any other person. You're speaking with empathy. You're speaking with your with your thoughtfulness of emotions. You're not just talking to people, and you're self-aware when you talk to other people. So it reduces your stress and anxiety. So these are the benefits of being self-aware, and this is what our takeaway should be when we talk about and again, I know Nana, you mentioned there, which I've mentioned there, the trigger. What are the things that triggers you? Get to know them, control them, and think about it before you respond to anything. So
Yep.
we're going to talk about self-regulations. And going back to self-regulation there, it's just about how you manage your own emotions. That's what self-regulations is talking about. How
Mm-hmm.
you manage your own emotion. That
Mm-hmm.
is how we talk about stress. How do you manage stress when you're stressed? Do you just calm down, put on your makeup, get a glass of water, get a glass of tea, manage your own emotions? How do you manage your frustration? Do you put your frustration on other people? Do you just project your own fear and frustration on others? Because I was actually having a conversation with a friend 2 days ago. I should say 2 days ago. I think it was on Friday. I was talking to a friend of mine, and we were talking about relationships. She was telling me about when she started a new relationship, and everybody was just like, "This is not going to work." Everybody had something to say about about the relationship, and we were talking, and I was trying to say that, trying to make her understand that people are talking out of their experiences, but at the same time, sometimes people too project their own fear onto other people.
Mm-hmm.
uh, but in some cases, people are not talking because they don't care. They are just talking out of either place of experience or
Yep.
their own fear, and they might project those fear onto you. You just have to learn to manage it, how to self-regulate yourself when people put their frustration on you,
Mm-hmm.
or when there's a conflict, when you're having a conflict with your friends. How do you manage that? What do you think of that? Uh, with calmness, manage your conflict with calmness and clarity. Now, there will always be a conflict, but when you are managing those conflicts, be calm and have some clarity to it. Speak with clarity. Speak with clarity and empathy. Even when you are in a challenging situation, speak with clarity and with good. So let me quickly just ask you there,
Yeah.
as you come into the conversation
Mm-hmm.
yourself. So, how do you self-regulate yourself?
That is a good question. So I like what you said about people who have self-regulation. They manage stress and stressful situations and frustrations and even conflicts. Now, it's very difficult. Anytime I always laugh because anytime you have two human beings, whether
Yeah,
it's at work
yeah,
or whether it's personal outside of work, anytime you
yeah,
have two human beings, eventually you're going to have conflict.
yeah,
And that conflict, indeed, as you've said rightly so, that conflict may stress you. How do you manage it is a very, very good question. Sometimes it might be a good conversation if you are able to communicate and articulate in a good way with the person that you
yeah,
have conflict with. That is an excellent way to manage and to self-regulate, because if you are able to express yourself calmly, nicely, and you have a good like I say, good relationship, because sometimes you might express yourself and the other person may become defensive. But if you have that, if you're blessed enough to have that, take that, have that conversation, even if it's uncomfortable, even if it's awkward. At the end of the day, that person will know that you're not coming out of spite, you're not coming from a negative. Uh,
yeah,
Now, does that work all the time? It actually
yeah.
doesn't, but it's one of the best things to. It's one of the best things to do. Sometimes, like you said, you will need a drink of water. You just need to say,
Yeah,
I'm feeling, I'm feeling a little bit of anxiety here. This is
yeah.
stressing me out. Um, and I was laughing because I'm teaching one of my nieces how to drive, and that is a stressful situation for me.
Mhm.
So I find myself thinking, oh my God, how am I going to indeed regulate my emotions? Because you want to scream, you want to shout, you want to do all these type of things. So this is definitely speaking to me as well. But yeah,
Mm.
sometimes you need breathe in for 4, out for 4, breathe in for 4, breathe out for 4, you know,
Yeah,
thing. You need that. Sometimes you
you
need that.
know,
So there's
you do.
there's different, yeah, there's different methods. Sometimes you just go outside. Go outside. It's beginning to be spring soon. Take
Yeah,
a nice
exactly.
take a nice walk. That actually helps. Some people in the office, where I work, we've got a
Yeah,
where they literally force you sit outside. Enjoy the sunshine. In summer, we literally have time where we can do that. And
yeah,
I that because then when you come back, you're refreshed. You're actually refreshed.
yeah.
Yeah.
I was actually in a situation of conflict with someone
Mm,
uh, recently,
mhm,
and I think because I was so shocked, I
mhm,
wasn't getting myself to be in that situation, and I
mhm,
was really shocked. And what I did was that I became so calm.
mhm,
Know, I I couldn't even talk. So I think the only way I realized was that I keep saying to myself, I try not to say anything because I don't want to say anything I'm going to regret later
yeah.
on, or that I will have to apologize for, or that might just make the situation worse than I expect. And then at the same time, I'm saying to myself, I'm thinking to myself now, yeah, okay. So I was thinking to myself as well that uh, is that sometimes you feel you have to say something at that time,
Yes.
that you don't get to say it now. Will I ever have the chance to say
Say
it again?
yeah.
So
Yeah.
will I ever have the chance to say it again? So it's been a good conversation we've been having, but let me give a takeaway from this self-regulation, and then we can round this conversation up. So from this, let's say, let's promote calmness. So we talk about calmness and resilience in a stressful, when you're in a stressful situation, leads to better decision making. Because if you can take control of yourself, if you're calm, if you don't allow the situation to get out of hand, then you can lead from a place of better decision making. So you
Mhm,
can make good decision making if you relax, if you take your time,
mhm,
if you allow empathy. There's so many things that you bring in. It allows you to be able to make good decision, and then to foster emotional stability. So you regulate your emotion, become stable.
mhm.
You are talking from a place of kindness and love. So we've really talked about the definition of what is emotional intelligence, what
Mhm,
it means to man. We've talked about self awareness. We've talked about the empathy. We've talked about why it is important. We've talked about self regulations.
mhm.
Um, we've talked about the importance of the social skills that is there. It's about leadership. It
Yeah.
gives you leadership. It promotes mutual respect when you
Mhm,
do. We've talked about how important it is to develop emotional intelligence. And there's so much we can actually talk about when we talk about developing emotional intelligence.
mhm.
But most importantly, out of all the things we've talked about today, is that in order to summarize today, I want you to give just one point as we celebrate women today. How can they develop emotional intelligence and use it to the best of their ability? So just round it up.
Yeah. Oh, how can you develop emotional intelligence? Okay. Today I'll use it from, for example, a leadership perspective. If you're in a position of leadership in business or in wherever, um, look for a person, even as a lead, even as you're a leader, but look for a person who inspires you, in leadership in life. Usually if you have, especially if you're in business leadership, if you have somebody who is you look up to them, not only for the sector that you're in, but all around. So look for
Mhm.
somebody who inspires you. uh, they would appear obviously quote unquote perfect because you see them, they're smiling, they're laughing, they're doing their job, they're at the top of their field, in business or whatever. how how is it that they can appear to have that all together? And maybe
mm,
you're sitting there and you're thinking, oh, I'm a leader, but I've got all this chaos and everything around them. So find out more about them. You'll be surprised. That's the perspective I'm coming from. There's a lot of other things you can do. We've
mm,
talked about breathing, we've talked about talking about it, we've talked about all these things. But if you look at somebody who you think, I think they have it all together. I think they look, they look the part now, you know, but what's behind the scenes? Find out
yeah,
what's behind the scenes. What did they have to achieve to get to where they are? That I
mm,
can look at them with, the inspiration, and you'll be surprised. They had to learn emotional intelligence as well. So that would be the perspective. It's a
mm.
different perspective, but that would be where I would come from.
Yeah. So I think as we go along, we've talked about a lot of takeaway for today.
Mm,
So we want people to take away from.
mhm,
But for me today, just to my own closing remark and just to round up what I think when it comes to emotional intelligence, I use
mhm,
myself as an example.
mhm,
And for people that might have worked with me, you've seen us when we have events. One of the things that I do is that when I'm in a state whereby when everything looks as if what is going to happen today, um, I think my that is the best time that you see the best of me in the sense that I just go into that place of calmness. I just become so calm, especially when we're having events. And when you're having events, you have so many
yeah,
conversations. Everything is going as if what is this? I just go into calmness. I'm so calm, and I just put on a smile. And
mhm,
everybody is talking. I say, no, no, it's okay. Everything is okay. It's gonna
mhm,
be fine.
yeah,
And I just let's go with what we have. If it's
yeah,
only just for example, today we had so much technical issues. We had so much things planned for today, but I think we were able to come to that place of calmness, myself and yourself,
mhm,
and we just said, "We're here. We're going to go ahead. We're going to do what we need to do.
yeah,
We're going to celebrate ourselves as women, and we're going to celebrate so many women in our life as well."
yeah, yeah.
One of the women I want to celebrate today is my mother. My mother is still alive. She's 85. I think her birthday is in April, but I just want to celebrate her. I don't know if I get the calmness from her. I sincerely don't think so. She's very, but I just want to celebrate her because there was every time I'm praying, when I'm so much in a place that I don't know where to go.
Mhm,
She's one of the people that comes into my mind
mhm,
because I always remember what she taught me when I was younger.
yeah,
The confidence she has in her own faith about everything. When everything looks as if everything is upside down, she
mhm,
keeps reminding us that she knows the God she serves. She's calm and
yeah,
she's trust. She knows her faith and she trusts. So she's one of
mhm,
those women I want to celebrate today. And
mhm,
my daughter is as well. She's want to celebrate her for her boldness, determination as a very young, upcoming African woman, striving to be the best she could. So those are the women in my life that I want to celebrate.
I
And
love that.
again, before I leave, just to say thank you to yourself and that you're one of those women. I have to say, I can say boldly that I celebrate.
Oh,
Hats of
thank you.
of commitment. When we talk about commitment,
Mhm,
you've demonstrated that since you started with us since 2020.
mhm,
You will always, at least no matter how hard it is, show that your commitment in everything you do. Um, and so to say thank you to you for joining us today.
mhm.
Thank you for being part of those women we can celebrate. And I'm saying thank you to everyone that has the opportunity to watch this. Either you're watching us on LinkedIn or YouTube channel. We are both saying thank you to you.
Yes.
Um, so it's both saying thank you to you. Thanks for joining us in the conversation. Thanks for celebrating women all around the world with us. We celebrate you wherever you are.
Yes.
Um, and that is for me. What about you, Nana?
Yes.
What else do you say?
Yes, as you've said, I do want to appreciate you because I've seen behind the scenes, like you've said, I have seen you behind the scenes, and a few times where we thought, oh, we don't know if we're going to make it, we don't know if we're going to. I have seen you operate from a place of excellence, and that excellence has been, like you said, calmness, just you know that everything will work out, even though it doesn't work out maybe the way we had planned. And we would all think, oh, but we went into all this planning, we went into all of this, but you come there knowing, and everything just ends up, by the time we finish, we're like, that was even better than what we
Yeah,
had planned and what
exactly. We've been
we
in so
anticipated.
many.
So
I
you
have to
have
say,
been,
we've
yeah,
worked this money together
yeah,
in so many situations. We've done so many virtual events,
yeah,
physical events.
yeah,
But we go into that state of panic. But at the end of the day, we just come look at we're here now.
yeah, yeah.
There's a
And so
purpose that
no,
God has put us here
I've learned
today.
that
We're
lesson.
going to
Yeah,
go
I've learned
ahead.
that
We're
lesson.
going to do this.
Yeah, I've learned that lesson. That's what makes a good leader. That's what makes a good leader. Because if you're calm, if you're steady, and if we know that, oh, okay, our leader is okay with this, then we take that example, especially after
Yeah.
we look at it and it's all worked out. So appreciate you for your kindness, appreciate you for your example.
Thank you so much. Thank you so
Happy
much.
International Women's Day to you. Happy International Women's Day to all the
Yeah.
women. We celebrate you all.
Oh, good. So thank you so much. And to everybody that is watching us, we just want to say again, thank you for joining us today to celebrate women all around the world. Happy International
Women's
Women's
Day.
Day. Oh, thank you. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you,
you.
everyone.
Yeah.